really did. That was an issue because I didn't grow up. I mean, I grew up a Christian. We love God, but it was, you know, I didn't grow up completely committed. Like if one thing was off, you know, then we'd go somewhere else. And we always loved God, but there wasn't that planted that we needed to be.
Hi, I'm Troy, and this is Michelle,
Yeah.
and we're the Crooks.
We first came to GPC, gosh, it's been almost 18 years ago now, when our boys were 4 or 5 months old, I think. They were little, they were dedicated at church, and we had been going to a church in Cincinnati after we got married and moved back to Northern Kentucky, and we went to a really nice church up on Beachmont Avenue. It was a big church, Spirit-filled church. We were involved, but once we had a 2-year-old and just little baby twins, it was impossible to get there. So my mom and dad had told us about the Gathering Place because our family's known Pastor Joyce and her family for as long as I can remember. So that's how we got there. It was close and convenient, and we were happy when we got there, and we just fell in love with it and the people, and felt like that was where we belonged. First started coming to Gathering Place, I was still involved in singing at a lot of different churches on special occasions or during Christmas programs, and people were asking me to come sing a lot, and that was cool, but they were pulling us, oh, you need to come to our church, you need to come to our church so that you can be a part of our choir. And it was tempting because, you know, they had these big, I like to perform too. So, you know, I like the big productions and the big choirs and the big orchestra, but, you know, it was cool because God just really dealt with my heart, because I've always told him that, you know, my voice, my talent was his, and it was meant to glorify him. But I remember there's a time I was really on Troy, maybe we should go somewhere else, maybe we should go to the bigger churches. And he just stood up and said, absolutely not, we are where we need to be. And I'll never forget that, because he's pretty mild-mannered. But he was like, no. And I just settled right down. I submitted to him, and I was happy at the house. It wasn't like I wanted to leave, but, you know, it was like, oh, you know, bigger, better. And that wasn't necessarily so. And I'm so grateful that he just knew that as the head of our home and leader of our family, that was a gathering places where we needed to be. And
Well, I grew up in a Christian home. My parents were born again, Spirit-filled Christians. Mm-hmm. Both sets of my grandparents were Christians. So I always had a godly influence on my life, and parents really taught us how to, you know, to live a Christian life. And I went to a Christian school, graduated high school, and ended up going to Oral Roberts University.
Where you met me.
Met my beautiful wife.
Yes.
So, you know, having a strong spiritual background has always been part of my life. And when I was younger, I always thought, you know, I don't have a really dramatic testimony. I kind of thought I had a boring testimony.
Yeah.
But now that I'm a little bit older, a little bit wiser, you know, I realize how great it is not to have gone through some of the things that, you know, the evil that our kids face in school these days.
Yeah.
And you know, now our daughter's going to Oral Roberts University. Our 2 boys intend to go there when they graduate high school. So all that has kind of transitioned us, you know, being a part of this church has, the spiritual foundation of this church is such an important part of our life, because as she said, it grounded our kids in the Word.
Grounded us.
Grounded us. We have all grown spiritually in every area of our life, but you know, the church has been such a foundation to us, and we've gone through lots of transitions in our life
since we've been there.
Since we've been there, and a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and the church has always been there and been strong and been solid. The people have been there to support us, pray for us, to help us when we needed help.
Yeah. Take us in, and we can have a home.
And it's just been, you know, a tremendous blessing about how God has moved in our lives. as a result of this church and the people of this church. That foundation early on in my life about being, my father was a pastor, so we were very committed to the church, even as a young person. But in our married life and being a part of this church, we've always been involved. Praise and worship team. I've been part of the usher staff as well as helping with the sound ministry. So we were very planted in this church, and we made a commitment to not just attend, but to be involved and to serve and be involved, and that has really gotten us to the point where we've seen the fullness of God because of serving and being involved, and it's been an important part of our life. We don't just attend church, we don't just show up and enjoy a nice service, but we're committed, and the foundation of the church is a strong part of our family and our lives. So
absolutely,
I think that's really been an important aspect of how we've made it through certain things in our life, is because we've had that foundation.
It's the people and the leadership, they're our family. Truly, they're our brothers and sisters, and we know that they love us because they've loved us through the ugly, they've loved us through the beautiful, and to have that's how Jesus is. He loves us through the ugly and the beautiful. He takes it all, and that's how we're a demonstration of Him. That's how the church is supposed to be, and it has Gathering Place has been that to us.